What's up, Blazers nerds, basketball nerds, all you nerds out there? I think we're gonna have to change the name of our show because Logo Lillard is gone from Portland. We're
Not
gonna have to
yet.
we're gonna have to change our name to Push the Pace or Young Flyers or something like that with the backcourt of the future, Scoot Henderson and Shaden Sharp
Sharp
on the
scooter.
horizon now. What?
Sharp scooter.
There you go. Razor sharp scooter. Yeah,
Yes.
we're on
Oh
the
yeah.
right track now. Yeah, Damian Lillard are officially requesting a trade out of Portland. Wants to go to Miami, play with Bam and Jimmy and Caleb Martin. I guess you guys were talking about that before. It's
I
gonna be
just
interesting. This team just got a lot younger, and yeah, it's gonna be the summer league is going to be interesting, though. I mean, damn, that's going to be like our starting lineup out there.
I just want to start with this text from my dad, which I think is just about me and Kirby's dad, which I think is pretty much where I'm at. It's I'm going to miss Dame, superstar, great dude, huge frowny face, sad day. That's pretty much how I felt too. It's like, I mean, he's done a lot for the team, a lot for the community. I really don't have any negative feelings about him. It's not unreasonable for him to want out at this point because the team has abjectly failed to put a contender around him for a decade. Since LaMarcus left, we haven't given him a player that can take him to a title even shot. And so I don't blame him. We'll talk about it today. The way that it's shaking out kind of sucks and is not necessarily a great way for him to say goodbye. Unfortunately, he's waving goodbye at us now, and it doesn't feel so good. But yeah, definitely going to miss him. Appreciate what he's done for the team. I don't want to trade him for Tyler Hero. Moving on.
Yep. And here's the thing. Let's just be honest. I'm good from my point of view, because there's a lot of people in the media, Blazers media especially, that's very, upset, reasonably so. Like for real. Dame's probably my favorite athlete that I've ever watched, live. I've been to as many Blazer games as I can. That's not every Blazer game, but he was around for my greatest sports memories ever. I go to one playoff game a year, both of them. I went to both of Dame's buzzer beater games. Okay. That's pretty lucky because I don't go, to every playoff game or anything like that. So my point being, I'm going to be honest when I say this. This is good for the Blazers, and that's a hard thing to say out loud. This is good for them. I think objectively, the Blazers were not one player away from a title. Okay. The way the market was apparently dictated, either the other teams were refusing to trade with the Blazers because they knew Dame would ask out, which Dame put us in a bad spot with his leverage stuff beforehand, kind of dropping his teams he'd want to go to. Either they just weren't trading with us because they knew Dame would ask out, or they just weren't valuing the pick. Trading away the third pick for somebody like Mikal Bridges, which apparently the Nets turned down Simons and Scoot for Bridges, that would not have given the Blazers a shot at a title. It would have punted our future away. We would have kept Sharp, hopefully. Imagine throwing in Sharp into that. That would not have put us into a spot for a title, and it would have traded away our best trade asset for the player that is not going to get us into a title contention spot. So it's sad, but if we want to compete, a Dame trade should, not for Tyler Hero, generate assets to put around Shaden and Scoot and Simons even, and be able to kind of construct the roster better. Right now, of course, we're still going to be guard heavy. Hopefully, I don't think we are going to acquire Tyler Hero no matter what. I think he's going to be flipped, or Simons is going to be flipped. But my point being, this might be what the Blazers need to kind of build around the defensive side of the ball. I'm not saying Scoot's going to come in and be a lockdown defender, but they're going to get more size at each position, it looks like. More athletic, younger, like Kirby said. I mean, it sucks that Dame's asking out, but it might be what the Blazers need to try and restructure the roster. And we're still keeping Jeremy Grant. Kind of interesting to me. And here's the other thing. Did Dame like say, hey, get my buddy Jeremy a contract and then not even give 24 hours after free agency started and then demand a trade? Like, that's kind of weird to me. That's kind of, if Dame really didn't ask for a trade until Friday or Saturday morning, why did we, we signed Jeremy to that contract? Why didn't he just say it ahead of time and say, wait on signing Jeremy? Kind of a weird thing. I don't really like how that all went down myself. But Jeremy, if he puts up numbers like he did in Detroit as the number one option, he's going to be very tradable at the deadline, even if his contract seems large. He's only making 27 million this year, So you look at all the contracts the other big players got, Halliburton, Bane, Sabonis, they all got like 200-something million, 260 million.
Fred VanVleet with the big deal.
Yeah. So my point being, this could put the Blazers in an interesting spot for the future, and it might be time for that reset anyways. So
I don't think the Blazers got tricked into re-signing Jeremy or anything like that, because you can't even officially sign people until like the 6th. So they could renege on it. They just came to a verbal agreement on it, but I don't think they want to let him walk. I think you'd be giving him up for nothing. You'd be losing an asset for nothing. So I think, like you said, they're hoping that he'll look good to start the season as kind of the number one veteran option on the team, I guess, and maybe he'll be tradable in the future. I was thinking about this the other day. It's not a clean analogy, so don't jump down my throat on this one, but I thought of it and I started laughing. Having this situation where you're trading a guard that means so much to the city, that the fans love, fan favorite, offensive dynamo, all those things, and you're trading him in favor of a young backcourt that kind of fit their positions better and could potentially play
Monte
with
Ellis. Is this where we're going?
Yeah, when the Warriors traded Monte Ellis to clear the way for Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, the Splash Bros, to form a dynasty in Golden State. That's the best we could hope for. But you got two guys that uber athletic, same age basically. I think Scoot, is a year younger than Shaden. He's actually my birthday. Scoot has same birthday day. But yeah, if those two guys, could play together for the next 10 plus years and get the chemistry early on, and the ceiling's really the sky, not the ceiling. The sky's the limit for these guys. The key is they're gonna have to find a big guy, hopefully soon, to build with those guys, build that same level of chemistry. That's one thing that the Blazers do not have anything close to a young, big asset. And hopefully they can find one, by trading Dame or with the draft picks here in the next few years. But that's after moving Dame, priority number one's got to be finding a big or two to play with these two young guys and hopefully build something together with them.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first questions then is, if with this Golden State Splash Bros analogy, is who's going to be their Draymond, because the Splash Bros couldn't have done it alone. And apparently it's not going to be Trendon Watford. I guess we were wrong about that, with our most popular video ever being about Trendon Watford being our Swiss Army knife Draymond Green. Is it going to be Jeremy Grant?
Didn't happen.
The thing that I didn't like about the Jeremy Grant deal and the way that all went down is that I'm pretty sure part of the reason he got such a huge deal is because Rich Paul's pretty smart at this point about negotiating these deals. He saw that we didn't get Draymond. That became official in the morning. And then a couple hours later, we signed that big ass deal with Jeremy Grant, because Rich Paul knew that was the only possible way we had of retaining Damian Lillard at that point. There was a lot of leverage there. The Blazers kind of got played. it's a big contract, and I hope that he plays at least well enough that he has some trade value so that we can get something for him at the deadline, because I don't really see him being the guy that you pair with Scoot and Shaden for a 10-year run. It doesn't seem like it to me.
He's like 28. He's already like in his
29.
late 20s. 29. Yeah, he's not going to last another 10 years in the league.
So I don't love the Jeremy Grant signing. I understand that we didn't want to just let him walk, but I think we should be immediately looking sign and trade or trade. You know, we didn't sign and trade, but we should have been looking at that. And now we need to be thinking about what we can move him for to pair with Scoot and Shaden, because as much as I hate the fact that we're in this rebuild, we are now. So it's time. If there are splash bros, let's find a Draymond.
Like Colton mentioned, though, with the way the market is going in the NBA, this contract in a few years could end up looking like a steal. You never know. It's
not a steal, maybe, but not crazy overpay. Like, you got to start looking at it like percent of the cap rather than the dollar amounts, because the contracts are just going to keep going up and up and up. We're still probably thinking of it like 30 million a year is a max player. Well, his max would have been like, what, 100 million more than what he's making, like 50, 60 million a year. So it's like, yeah, it's not the best deal, but I think he's getting paid to be the 45th highest paid player in the league. That's probably still a little bit too high for him, but it's not like
it's pretty close.
Easy. Yeah. So I don't know. Here's my thing. You need vets. Okay. I don't think Jeremy Grant is a bad vet to have for young Shaden, young Scoot going forward. The Smash Bros. I mean, Super Smash Bros, right? Dunks. No.
That's already been done. Done.
So
Mark Gasol and Zach Randolph, is that who you're comparing them to right now?
So what if we pivot? Let's say we have to trade Dame to Miami, right? Let's say Dame's going to play in Miami, or Dame is apparently not going to play at all, which I don't really like, because that's kind of Dame's thing. He's always been not joining a super team, not joining a team that's going to the finals, not running from the grind. If he's really demanding to go to one team only, and that's the team that was in the finals with 2 stars, I don't like that. But let's work with it as a 3-team deal. These are going to be some out-of-the-box deals that I came up with. We're not going to say, wow, I love that. Probably. It's weird. It's going to look a little weird. But this is like kind of, instead of going full rebuild on this first one that we got, this is going to be something that might make some people cringe that are in the comments. So just so you know, this is not my preference. But compare it to a return of Tyler Hero.
I love all the apologizing before we even see this.
Okay, well, compare it to a return of Tyler Hero. I'll explain why the teams do it right now. Let me share the screen, and you'll see what you guys think. Actually,
I'm already scared.
I can't share the screen anyways, so you guys are going to get to see it. You guys are just going to have to imagine how bad it is.
Unlock it, Riley.
I got you, bro.
You got me? Okay, here we go. So, this is a name we've looked at before.
Oh, I'm cringing. I'm just kidding. I didn't even look at it.
Why are the Blazers, instead of rebuilding, why are they getting Karl Anthony Towns? He makes $1 million. Or $1 million. He makes way too much money. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. This is why the Timberwolves would do something like this. I'll break down the Blazers after. The new CBA, okay, it is a thing that people are already concerned about. We saw it with John Collins getting dumped for a 2nd-round pick into the Utah Jazz. The Timberwolves cannot have Gobert, Edwards, and Cat on their roster forever. They just can't. They can't. When the new CBA comes through, they're going to be screwed if they do. The Timberwolves in this move are kind of lowering their salary. The picks down there, this trade says failed, by the way, but it's only because Mr. JJJ, as I call him, from Miami, just signed his deal, so he can't be traded for 30 days. But they're cutting their salary a ton. They're getting Nurkic, yes, but they're getting Tyler Hero. The 2 picks from Miami are pick swaps. So I only put them in there like that because of the trade machine was being wonky along with the JJJ disallowing the trade. So they're getting Tyler Hero. They're pairing him with Ant. We've talked about it before. Ant and Tyler Heroes could be a good fit. Ant's a good defender. Tyler Hero is more of a shooter. But their main thing is they got to get off Towns. They have to. And this way, they're still getting a young guard talent. They're getting, the person that the Heat drafted in the first round. They're getting pick swaps. Timberwolves don't have any picks or swaps because they traded them all for Gobert. I mean, they have picks, but they're getting more back from the Gobert trade. The Heat get Dame. That speaks for itself. Why are the Blazers getting Cat? Why would they do that?
Why? Tell us why.
Cat makes a ton of money. That's one of the reasons why people don't want to get him. It doesn't matter when we have Shaden and Scoot as part of the rebuild backcourt. Jeremy's going to make money, and so is Cat, but that's okay. Those two are going to make money. That's fine with how the rest of the Blazers are built at this point. Then you look at the lineup. You got Scoot, Shaden. If whatever happens with Ant is still there. You need a small forward. You still have Grant, and you have Cat. What about halfway through the season when OG wants out because he still hasn't been traded and needs a new role? Well, the Blazers just got a couple more first-round picks. They still would have Ant. His value is probably going to be raised because we're in this scenario. What if you can trade for OG at this point? Then you got Scoot, Shaden, OG, Grant, and Cat. Wow, that actually looks like a good roster. If Scoot comes in and hits the ground running and Shaden takes a step up at all, that's an amazing starting lineup with defense, athleticism, shooting. You might need a little bit more playmaking, but it's not a bad place to be. You also pick up Jovic in this and a couple first. Kyle Lowry's there for expiring. Who knows? But I mean, if he stays with that roster, I don't know. I think it's kind of an interesting move to just pivot from full rebuild into like, hey, can this team do something in like maybe a year? I think it could. Weirdly, it's a complete starting lineup. So that's that.
My first thought as you were talking through this is just the roster construction of what that Blazers lineup would look like, because I think we'd still be in a little some of the same problems where like Jeremy Grant, I don't really want him playing the 4. I want him playing the 3. And the team's just a little small. Cat's a little small. He plays a little bigger, but not on defense.
6'11".
So
I would argue it's the other way around. He's big, but he plays small. That's probably what I would more argue. He's a stretch big. He doesn't play inside.
He rebounds well though, for his stretchness. And that's what the Blazers need. They have Jeremy, like you said. I mean, you could put Jeremy at the 3 if you want and pick up a 4. It was just the thought of, there could be wings out there at the deadline that you want to slot in there. But yeah, I get what you're saying, Riley. But what I'm saying is this one would be like one more move away, and you've acquired 3 first-round picks along the way, and you still would have Fernie Simons, who, at the deadline, if his numbers have gone up and his value has gone up at all, along with some extra firsts, you might be able to compete with one more move. Like I said, out of the box might not be what a lot of people want. They might want to go full rebuild, which I get, but I'd rather do it than Tyler Hero.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer a full rebuild. I just don't know that Karl Anthony Towns is the guy that I would want to hitch my wagon to. But if we did go this route, we got to trade Simons for a power forward, basically, is what I see. A big guy who can, rebound and play some defense inside. And then you would have a pretty, a solid lineup depending on how Scoot and Shaden come out this year, with Jeremy at the 3, whoever that power forward might be, and Cat. It would be interesting to see. I just I don't know. I'm not that interested in getting Cat. It seems like there could potentially be. It seems like he's already had issues with young guards who've come onto his team. He's had some weird things with Anthony Edwards. I don't want any of that juju around Scoot and Shaden. It's like, it's their team. It's not yours, bro.
Well,
Yeah,
he wouldn't be the leader on this team, hopefully. You're right.
Yeah, one of my first thoughts was like, oh, Karl Anthony Towns and OG Anunoby. That would have been fun to pair with Damian Lillard like 3 years ago. But that's
Yeah.
not where we're at now. So yeah, as far as like rebuilding around these two young guys, Cat was more interesting with Dame, in my opinion. I don't think it's a bad trade. I think it makes sense for all three teams potentially if they want to go that direction. I just kind of hope the Blazers don't go that direction.
Yeah, if it's
Again.
like if it's the best deal you can get, I guess you do it. I'm just hoping that Cronin will be able to pull off something a little bit more young assets, more picks is what I would be interested in.
Again, I want to go a full rebuild. I probably didn't say that clearly, but my point is, if you're trying to find a third team and they're like, you can't find one, Dame's trying to go to Miami only. I do not want to add another guard, Tyler Hero, which I don't think will happen. But if they're just trying to pivot and say, nope, we're not trying to rebuild, let's try and do something else, compete, upgrade at the big instead. I don't know. That's just something to watch out for in case they can't figure anything else out as far as a rebuild package. But you're right. I don't think this will happen. This was just more of an outside the box.
Yeah.
The next one I have one more for you guys. It's kind of similar. It's another player we've talked about in the past.
Uh-oh.
Adding to the young core. It's more of a rebuild move, but also
give us the Siakam trade. Just show it to us.
Nope. All right, here we go.
There it is.
Boy.
So this one was a 4-teamer.
Oh my goodness.
It took a little bit of crafting, and so a lot of moving pieces. It becomes less and less likely by the day when the Suns keep getting all of these like role players that are signed minimum. That's the thing that's I think holding this up the most. The Suns just signed Eric Gordon, basically for nothing. But let's start with the Suns because I already started there. The Suns need to cut. They're another team. This is all because of the new CBA. They're going to be like above the second apron. Ayton makes them pay a crazy amount of taxes on his own. They need depth still. This trade cuts their money owed to a center by a ton, by half basically. And it gives them 2 wings that I'm sure they could use. I really think they could. Royce O'Neal, Highsmith, both players that it's almost like helping the Suns win a title if Nurkic holds up. I really think that those wings would give them exactly what they need, the depth that they need. Imagine those guys coming in behind like Kevin Durant and all their starters, right? They might just want to hold on to Ayton if they can keep picking up role players for vet mins. That's the thing that stops it. But I think Royce O'Neal and Highsmith would come in and really look good on their team. The Nets are getting Caleb Martin, and maybe the Suns would prefer Caleb Martin, so that might be another thing. But the Nets are getting Caleb Martin and Tyler Hero. They're also getting Kyle Lowry's expiring. I just think it's a win for the Nets for sure here. I don't really have to really explain it. That Tyler Hero would be great on the Nets.
They're getting off Ben Simmons too.
Off Ben Simmons, yep. The Heat get Dame, but they also get gutted for it. They have to
give up a lot.
Well, okay. We keep saying the Heat have nothing. Well, if the Heat have nothing, they better pay everything that they have that's not Bam and Jimmy. That's what I'm saying. This is like the screw you Heat. Okay. Blazers, they actually gain salary, not lose salary. So that's why it's kind of unlikely. But Ben Simmons contract, I don't like Ben Simmons at all. I do not like him at all. But his contract comes off the books after next season. That'll be a $40 million expiring off the books. We add Ayton to the young core. He's 24. It would be Scoot, Sharp, and Ayton now. And Ayton, like I said, just said 24, healthy, young, athletic, can play defense. I think he'd be good on the young core. I think people were worried about him making so much money. It won't matter as much when we're in a rebuild. I think he'd be we should target him if we can. I still don't think would be happy, maybe now with a new coach, all that's smoothed over, but the Suns are going to be in tax and just such a mess. They need to try and break it apart into smaller players if they can. We'll see. Clowney, Nets just drafted him. He was a couple picks away from the Blazers. I think he has a lot of potential. And that's the reason why the Nets are only giving up one future first, because Clowney was just drafted. It's basically like giving up another first. We get Jovic, we get another first, and we get 2 Heat firsts. This is more of a rebuild, but adding Ayton. What do you guys think?
I like Ayton more than Cat, I'd say. But I still don't really know if he's the answer. Just with the issues that you guys have particularly harped on for like over a year now, with his, seemingly his attitude issues and whatnot. And it seems like maybe he has, I don't know, has he already peaked? Has he kind of started to regress the last couple of years? Hard to tell. Maybe he needs a change of scenery. Maybe he needs, a new coach, which could help this year. The other thing I see with this, I do get what you're saying, and I like the Suns adding some depths and some wings, but to bank your whole, a good portion of your championship odds on Yusuf Nurkic seems like a horrible decision for Phoenix.
Eubanks. It's the Blazers center experience.
Yeah, they're obviously win now. Like if they don't win a championship this year, it's a disappointment. To put your eggs in the Nurkic Eubanks basket as your bigs, it's that's a hell of a gamble, a roll of the dice there. I don't really see them doing that. The other 2 teams, I like what it does for the Nets, definitely more than anybody else here, and the Heat obviously win with their new big 3.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the one that makes the Heat pay, and I like that part of it a lot. Because if they want to put together that big 3 with Dame, you're not going to get there with just giving us Lowry and Hero guys. I'm not into it. One issue I have with this trade, looking at what the Blazers get, is that if we're trying to rebuild, these picks are kind of a ways out. These aren't picks over the next couple of years. I guess maybe you can try to trade them, try to package them or something, but it would be nice to get some picks like next year, the year after that. Especially if we're trying this like Scoot, Shaden, and Ayton experiment. I'm not opposed to Ayton. With those 2 guys, I think that might be interesting. He is pretty young. I've obviously had some concerns about his attitude problems and stuff, but I think a lot of that was specific to the Suns and to the coaching staff down there. Maybe a change of scenery would do him well. One thing is, and this is kind of a separate conversation, but I'm interested to see what the Blazers do with their, like the rest of their organization. We've talked a lot about how if Dame goes, then it might be time to gut everything, including is Cronin on the chopping block? Is Chauncey on the chopping block? Because we kind of brought in Chauncey to coach Dame, at least a little bit. And I mean, luckily we're replacing him with another potential star point guard. Maybe we want to see what Chauncey can do for Scoot too, but I don't know. I think everyone is at least under the microscope now. I think Cronin feels like he's under the microscope because the way he's been talking with the media, he's taking a very specific position and sticking to it because he knows that that's going to look better. So I don't know. I don't know what the Blazers staff looks like, but
he's negotiating for his job right now for sure. This is whatever he does here with the Damian Lillard trade is gonna, make or break him as far as his future with the Trailblazers. I think Billups probably has a little bit more of a leash now. We'll see how he does with the young guys, developing them, and if he's able, give them another year, maybe 2. And if he really starts to develop them into something, then you keep them around. But if they're struggling, then it's kind of easy to move off of them. I feel like I've seen a lot of, and then even going higher up, I've seen, of course, Blazers fans are pissed and depressed right now. and they're going after Jody Allen. And now they want Jody's head. All the comments on Instagram and everything are sell the team, sell the team. People are pissed at the ownership for not spending and not getting the right people in place to build a winner around Dame. But overall, I'm pretty optimistic about it. I think they did a good job rebuilding quickly. It's not like the Blazers have nothing, to look forward to. They have two cornerstones on their team already with
Look at the Wizards.
yeah.
Imagine being a Wizards fan. I was reading these comments from like Wizards fans, and they're like, I'm excited for Wizards basketball for the first time in like 10 years. And you look at their since John Wall, you look at their roster and it's like
Kuzman, Poole.
Riley, what's the name of their first round pick that you were saying during the draft? Because that's who they have. Kolabi?
Yeah, Kolabi, something like that.
Imagine if the Blazers drafted him instead of
Koulibaly.
Imagine if the Wizards and Blazers switched who they drafted. And think about that core versus that. Like, we are in a good spot for rebuild. That's kind of speaking to what I was saying earlier, that it's not as bad as, let's wait and see what they look like. And we're probably not going to be winners right out the gate, but Shaden and Scoot is such a good place to start for a rebuild. Plus whatever you get from Dame. I agree with you guys. If Cronin messes up, fumbles this Dame trade, and we get 2 firsts and Tyler Hero, he should be fired immediately because he is kind of captaining this rebuild already. And I think behind the scenes, this might have been something he thinks we needed, or the higher ups think we needed, because it wasn't going to happen. And I can understand that. But if you mess up the biggest part of the rebuild, trading your star, that doesn't look good. I don't like that.
It probably did him a little bit of a favor when he requested the trade, because they couldn't trade him, without him requesting. There would have been riots. But since he kind of gave them an out, and they're like, we're in no position to compete with Lillard, which is what he wants. They haven't been in a position to compete with him for the last 3 years. So I think it probably did all of them a favor, probably did Scoot a favor, probably did Shaden a favor. I'm relieved that we don't have to trade either one of those guys. So I was, as much as I love Dame, trading one of those guys for unequal return, it would have been the worst of all situations, I think, to, like you've eloquently put it, punt away our future for some guy who's not even going to get us there. But quickly touching on this too, I still feel like Simons has to go. I've been saying this for like over a year now. He didn't fit with Dame. He doesn't fit with Scoot and Shaden either. He's got to go out along with Dame. Hopefully this offseason, hopefully soon. Hopefully you can get a young big prospect for him, or at least something. I don't know, maybe a couple picks or something. I mean, I guess you could hold on to him and see what happens, but I guess it maybe more now that Dame is gone, there's an avenue for him to stay around for a little bit longer, but I don't really see him being there long term, especially with Scoot and Shaden being the future of the team.
In a kind of sad twist, I think a little bit more excited about Summer League than I am about the actual season, because when we go into Summer League, I'm excited. I mean, I was already excited, Scoot and Shaden. Anthony, he's probably not playing, right? No. But yeah, I mean, we have some fun young guys to watch. The depression will set in when we go to the regular season and it's still those same guys. That's going to be where, I get a little sad when Dame's not introduced along with everybody else. But Summer League's going to be fun, and it starts like next week. So it'll be really fun to see what Scoot and Shaden look like together. That'll be the interesting part in all this. I hope that it's what we're all hoping for.
I'm excited for Summer League and the regular season, to be honest with you. I'm excited to see what those dudes can do. Watching a few interviews with Scoot,
I was going to say,
it's exciting, man. We're listening to him talk and the way that he plays, it could be a lot of fun. I don't expect them to be competing for a championship or anything, but I think there's a chance, depending on who they surround them with, that they could surprise some people. not be at least not be cellar dwellers. You know, there's a real avenue for them to actually be better next year than they were this last year and the year before that, because the Blazers were so bad the last couple of years.
Fifth pick, it's not hard to be better than that, you know.
Yeah.
I want Riley. If you haven't seen it yet, if you want to be sold on Scoot, you know, Kirby, you might have already watched this. It sounds like watch the interview he did. It's only like 3 minutes long for like the first summer league practice. He said so many quotes that made you go, okay, this might be the guy. He's like, I'm not aiming for somebody, I'm aiming for everybody.
Yeah.
He went out right away. They asked him if he was ready to be the face of the franchise. They just dropped it on him already. He said, yep, I'm ready for it. The Ignite prepared me for it. He's been a professional ball player for 2 years already, guys. He might
said he was ready to embrace the city of Portland.
Was talking about red and black.
Yeah, I was talking about Shaden and how much, you know, how his bounce was unlike anything he'd seen, and how he was like, wait till you see me throw a lob to him on a backdoor cut. He's like, just don't let me get a rebound and push the ball. Don't let it happen. He's like, and it will happen.
The cameras are on and you better watch. Yeah.
He definitely said the right things and was like, man, if he can back that up with his court, he's got the kind of the mentality, and it feels like the instincts and all that stuff to be. You could be a dangerous dude here in the next couple of years.
Definitely check it out, Riley.
I'm super excited about Scoot and Shaden. I want to see them take the team over at this point. You know, I think it's going to be great. It's going to be sad for a little while for me. I mean, it's, you know, he's like you said at the beginning of the podcast, Colton, Damian is probably my favorite professional athlete that I've ever watched play a sport, to be honest. And he was on our team. You know, he was our guy for years, and it's sad that the era is over. But yeah, there's a lot to be excited about too. Very excited for Summer League. I don't expect them to be super competitive in the regular season. I do expect them to compete in the Summer League. Come on, let's take the trophy, guys. But
we're gonna be posting a poll here pretty soon. Where, you know, what team should the Blazers trade Damian Lillard to? Where could we get the best package from? So be sure to vote on that. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.
Stay tuned for some Summer League vids and analysis. Bye.